All right, so today I decided I was going to make a video to show the chart settings that I have, all the indicators that I use, just because I started streaming again, and all the information I have on my channel is old and outdated. So if you're curious what's on my chart, this is what it is. It's not a magic formula. It's nothing super fancy. It's just the things that I'm using that make sense to me. So if you're curious, here you go. Let's get into the charts. All right, so let's start with the chart, just the whole look of the chart, which is really, it's just personal preference, but I'll show you what I have. So that's, you change those things in two different places. One is under data series. Since I have the data series, you can change the color of your candles. I have mine set as transparent for up bars, still blue for the down bars with candle body outlines and wicks, both dark gray with a width of 1. And that's it. That's where that's at. You can come down here. You can change the color of where it shows your trade executions and all those kinds of things. I just leave those as the default. I don't think that I've changed any of those. The next place is under properties, and under properties, you can change a couple of different things. The first thing that I do is I check this show date range box. This is what pops up the date up in the top left-hand corner. So if you're taking screenshots or anything, it's pretty useful to have that information there already on the chart. Here's where the background is set. So you can just take a look at, if you're curious, what colors I use for all of those things. Because I have a black background, everything else has to contrast with that. So text is yellow, crosshairs are light gray. The axis here is smoke white. I find that smoke white isn't quite as glaring as regular white, and so that's why I use smoke white. I don't use grid lines, horizontal or vertical, so I set those to transparent so that I cannot see them. And then panel splitter is also white smoke. And that's that. But again, that's all just personal preference. All right, so let's get into the indicators that I've got. I'll just go down this list, starting at the top. First up is BarTimer. The BarTimer is what counts down the remaining time on a bar, so you know when the end of the bar is coming. I didn't change any of the presets there. The DrawingToolTile is this guy up here, which just is a shortcut to any of the drawing tools that you might want to use. Once it's up there, you can move it to any spot on the chart. But this section here allows you to select and which options you want on that tile. So I have the up and down arrows. I have ellipse, extended line, Fibonacci retracements, horizontal line, regular line, array, a rectangle, risk reward, ruler, text, and trend channel, and vertical line. And I add things and take things away depending on how I feel at the time, or if there's something that I find myself not using, or if I'm looking for something I need to add. The next indicator I have is CandleQuarters. This one I don't think it's a default indicator. I think I had to download it from someplace. I'm honestly can't even tell you where I got it from. But the CandleQuarters is the one that puts these little hash lines on the candles to mark the top and the bottom quarter of the candle. It will also mark the bar center and bar pivot, which I have set at transparent because I don't care. I don't want to see those. I just want to see the high quarter and the low quarter. And so I have those, the color for those is white smoke. It's a dash and a hash. The dash style is dash, plot style is hash, width is 1. The 3 EMAs that I use is the 9, 21, and 45. All the widths on those are 1. Colors, again, it's a personal preference thing. I have lime green as my 9 EMA, 21 EMA is royal blue, 45 EMA is goldenrod, and then the SMA, which is my slower moving average, is red. It's the one SMA. These are all set right now to calculate on bar close. You can set these to do on price change. I wouldn't do each tick, but at price change, you can do that. A lot of times when you do that, though, you see the line kind of moves up and down with the candle, and so it can throw you off a little bit. So I usually just leave those to bar close. VWAP is the next one. I use 3 deviations. So all that does is the VWAP line, which if you go down, this indicator is kind of weird. If you go down here, it plots the VWAP line here. I have the color set to white smoke. So the white line is the VWAP line. And then all these really, really faint kind of teal lines, these are the standard deviation lines. You can see one way up here, one kind of down here. And that's what this is up here. So the 3 standard deviations, so there's 3 of those lines extending. Depending on the day, they can be kind of tight together or very far apart. Looks like today they're pretty far apart. There's a fill color, so it will fill the space between those VWAP lines if you want with something. I have it set at transparent, although that transparent setting doesn't save for some reason. Every time I get into it, I have to go change that. I don't know why. But for the 3 standard deviation lines there, I have them set all at the same color. I just chose teal with a dash style of dot, a plot style of line, and a width of 1. And that's just because for me, I don't care whether it's, a standard deviation 1, 2, or 3. I just, those lines seem to be respected at times. And so I just kind of want them there as a point of reference. And so I have the same color for the first standard deviation, upper and lower, second upper and lower, third upper and lower. The other ones don't matter because I don't have more than 3. The next indicator is current day open, high, low, and that just plots the current open, so the time or the price at which the market opened at 6 p.m. And I have the open set at goldenrod. The color rather is sea green, and the current low is just red. The style for those is right there for you, dash and square. Again, personal preference thing. But what that just plots, again, the open, and then the current high, whatever the current high of day is, and then the current low of day, which feeds right into the next indicator, which is the prior day open, high, low, close. So that plots the same information essentially, but it adds the closing price, and it does it for the prior day. And I have all of those set at the same, with the same colors. They're just a different style of a line. So for the prior day stuff, I use the dash dot and the hash. And so you can see on the chart here, this purple line right here, that's yesterday's close, or the prior day close. You can see that one down here on the indicator. So this line, prior day close, that gold line is the overnight open. This sort of hashy line here is yesterday's overnight open, and you can see price has been hovering right around that level. And then of course you've got the current day low down here. If we tightened it up, we'd see all the other ones, but those are what's showing on the chart right now. Again, that's the styles, the colors, that's all just personal preference. All right, next up gets a little more complicated. Next up are the stochastics. I use the StochasticsFast. All the information, all the settings that I use for the stochastics, I stole from somebody else. And so if you want to learn more about the stochastics, Day Trading Rockstar, Day Trading Radio, what's his name? I'll put it in the notes of this video. DTR, Day Trading Radio. That guy over there, he does a lot with stochastics, and that's where I picked up these settings. These are the 3 that I kind of liked, and so they're the ones that I use. There's 3 different ones. Probably don't have them in the best order right here, but the important thing is on stochastics, there's a D line and a K line. So the first stochastic is set at 3.9, then the second one is 1060, and then the third one is 440. Not necessarily in that order. It should should actually be probably like this. Let's move this up in order, right? So you have your 3.9, which is your fastest one. You got your 440, which is kind of the middle one, and then you got your 1060, which is the slower one, or it reads a higher time frame. The colors for those, start with the 3.9. That's what I have. That's the gold line on this lower chart here. And I plot the D line is the one we want to look at, and that one I think is goldenrod. It is. And then the K line I set is transparent because that line doesn't matter to me, and so I leave it as transparent so I don't even see it. The other two lines on this little chart are just these upper and lower lines here, which I have set at 80 and 20. The color on those is dark cayenne, I guess. They're at the same spot for each of these, each of the three stochastics, because they all have them. And then I set all these into panel 3. So right here, this allows you to put multiple indicators in different panels on the screen. And this one, when you first create the chart, you can kind of just add them all. And then once it automatically places the panels on the chart, you can go back, pick which panel you want them all in, and then select that same panel for everybody. So since I want them at the bottom of my chart, I have them all set to panel 3. So that way they all show up in the same little chart right here. The 440 is, the color for that one that I use is medium, what is that? Medium orchid, a purple line that I liked, a purple color that I liked. And then the 1060, again, the numbers up here, 10 for the D line, 60 for the K line. And the color that I use there is Dodger Blue. So again, color is preference, but the settings on those 3.9, 440, and 1060 for StochasticFast. The next one that I have is the ATR. I only use the ATR just so that I can see the candle size, so I have an idea of what my risk is if I want to get into a trade. It's just a good way for me to easily gauge. There's probably indicators that tell you that specifically, but I don't know. ATR was a way was kind of my hack, my shortcut to figuring out how to get that information. So I have the period set at 1, so it plots a different line for each candle. I do that on bar close, and then I just goldenrod is the color I use. The dash style is dash, plot style is hash. Width is 2. How it plots on the chart is really irrelevant. The information I use is just where it gives you the readout of what the value is on the side. And that is this price marker. So if you don't want to see the price marker, you uncheck it. If you want to see the price marker, you check it. So you notice there's no values for any of the lines, any of the moving averages, anything that I have over here. So for every indicator that I have unchecked price marker. So if we go to like an EMA, you see the price marker checkbox is not checked. That's because I don't want to see that. If you check that, boom, it would pop up this little price readout here. For me, it clutters the chart and I can see the line on the chart. I don't need to know what the value of the line is. So I don't like it there. So the only indicator where I have the price marker displayed is that ATR. And that's really the only purpose for that, which is why I have it scrunched down so tight, because I don't care, the change in the ATR doesn't matter to me. I'm just curious to know what the actual value is. The next two indicators, these are, excuse me, these are indicators that we've developed that aren't publicly available. There is a version of an OpenRange indicator out there that you can get on the NinjaTrader ecosystem that has basically this. It's actually exactly the same. We took that indicator that was there and we added extension lines, which if I get out of this, I can show you, but it'll plot the opening range box based on the time frame that you put in it. And then once the open range is complete, it plots extensions of that, 100%, 200%. And so that's what my open range indicator is. The one note on this is the way the NinjaTrader does time. I have my open range for NQ set to start at 9:31 because because on NinjaTrader, the candle that closes at 9:31 is actually the first candle of, that's the 9:30 candle. It's kind of weird how they do that. So I always have it starting at 9:31. So for instance, gold opens at 8:20. And so if I was doing my open range for gold, I would set the start time at 8:21. Other than that, you can look if you're curious to know what my colors and settings and things are. They're right there. The other one is the profit and loss tags. Again, this is just an indicator we developed. It's not publicly available, but when you see me enter trades and it has a dollar value on my target and my stop loss, this is the indicator that plots that number. So those ones aren't available, but just so you know what they are. So those are all of the indicators. I don't think the other note, I guess, on that is in order to keep the chart clean, I also, this label field for each of the indicators, I clear it out. I leave it blank. When you add an indicator, if you were to add, say we added another SMA, right there. So 14 SMA, it'll automatically come in with a label. And then what that does is it puts the information up at the top of the chart. So I guess you can see what you've got. That doesn't help me out once you have a lot of indicators. It's just, this long string of text that's really hard to understand. I don't like it, so I clear that out. If you delete that, it will simply take it away so that it keeps the chart clean. So that's the other thing that I do, just to keep my chart looking the way I want it. I think that is all. I'll go back. Let me show you. So here's the open range. And you probably can barely see. Here's the open range box. Once that's plotted, I don't know if you can see, but there's 100% line right here. My lines are plotted every 25% all the way up. And I have them the opacity set so that they're just barely visible because I don't rely on them a lot. I'm just kind of curious to know where they're at. And so that's what those are. I think that covers all of the chart parameters. Nothing else too fancy. It's all pretty basic. But in case you wanted to know, those are the indicators that I use and how my chart is set up. So hopefully that's useful to somebody out there. And if you have any questions, feel free and let me know. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.